Hey everyone, Sylvie here with Halstead, and today I am here with Emilie Shapiro, who is our 2026 Guest Halstead Grant Judge, and she's going to be passing along a lot of her knowledge and experience with us today. And first we're going to be talking about trunk shows. I think it's something that people have a lot of curiosities about, and Emilie has a lot of knowledge, so we're super grateful that she's here to share some of that with us.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here with Halstead for the week.
Yeah. All right, so let's start out with kind of like the basics. What is a trunk show, and can you describe kind of what a typical event might look like?
Sure. So a trunk show is an event at a store, a boutique, a department store, or something like that, where the artists would be bringing their product to set up, usually at a table or something like that. And it could last anywhere, from a day to a week. And you'd be selling your work at the store, meeting with their customers in their space.
Okay. How might a trunk show different from consignment?
Yeah, trunk show is very different from consignment. So consignment is when you would be sending your stuff to be for sale at that store. It could be for a period of time or for, maybe 3 months or something, and they would be selling the work for you, and you would get paid once the work sold.
Right.
A trunk show is like an isolated event that might last, let's say like 1, 2, 3 days, and then whatever you sell while you're there are the sales.
How might a trunk show differ from other events like that you might do, like a market or a wholesale show, like a big wholesale show or something? What's kind of like unique and special about a trunk show?
Yeah, well, first, a trunk show is sold at the retail prices, so that's how it would definitely differ from a wholesale trade show. This is different from like a craft market or a retail event because usually it's just one person selling their stuff physically at the store, not set up like a fair where there's other people. There might be a scenario where there's more than one artist, but in my experience,
Unlikely.
It's usually one. Yeah.
And it's usually something like special too, right? There's like a lot of advertising and kind of like hype, like Emily's coming for a trunk right. Yeah.
There should be. That would definitely help make it successful. But yeah, usually, let's say it could be like 2 or 3 days. So there might, sometimes I've been to things where maybe they'll host like a happy hour, or have some snacks and advertise to like come in like a sip and shop situation during like a certain portion. There might be kind of like a hook to get someone in.
Right.
But it's definitely an event that's taking place at a small duration of time, like physically at the store.
And I think that's kind of leads into our next question a little bit, is like, what kind of places are hosting trunk shows, or might you as a artist or designer want to approach and see if they would host a trunk show? Like, it's probably not everybody.
Yeah, this is a good question. So in my experience, I've had trunk shows at small boutiques. I've even had things at hotels, like spas, things like that. I think it's really important if, you're the one approaching, or if they're approaching you, that it's someplace that does trunk shows, because I have been to trunk shows where it's like not really their jam, and they haven't really brought people in, and that was kind of frustrating. So you want to make sure that this is something that they've done before, or that you feel like they have like some foot traffic that would make sense.
Right. Yeah. Because if they haven't done it before, they maybe not have the processes down yet, or just the knowledge out there that this is a thing we do, and maybe not as well attended.
Yeah, I've definitely had some trunk shows where, for example, I won't say where, but it was at a hotel, and it definitely was not something that they were set up for. They didn't have a POS system, and I didn't know that. Like, I had to do all of the sales. Tricky. My table was like outside and in like a weird area, and it just like, it made no sense.
Right.
So it should be something that, that like is a proven concept, or even if they've never done it before, that you feel like, okay, there's going to be people, and this makes sense.
I think that kind of like you briefly mentioned a POS. So at a trunk show, who are the ones who take sales?
Yeah, that's also a good question. It could be different. I've done trunk shows where it's going through their register and then they're paying me at the end. Or I've done trunk shows where I'm the one making the sales. I'd say most of the time it's going through their register. And then I know that this is another question, but you know, you do need to agree on like what the cut is. Sometimes it could be wholesale, you're getting the wholesale price and they're getting the retail, or a lot of times it's actually more like 50-50. So that should be a little bit more than your retail price. Which is nice because, you know, if it's being split 50-50, that's saying like you're both advertising. You know, you're kind of both putting in the work.
Mutual agreement.
It's a mutual agreement. So in my experience, most of the time I've done it, it's been 50-50. Not always though. Sometimes it's wholesale retail, and I think you just have to figure out like what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, along those lines, what are the kinds of questions that you're going to want to ask before you agree to a trunk show? I mean, that of course is going to be one of them.
Yeah, I would definitely ask like, who is doing the sales? Can I bring my own packaging? Or shopping bags if you have anything like that? Like, can you know, be giving out your postcards and things like that. So another thing that's really important to bring up is, you know, like, will they be promoting it? Are you going to be promoting it? Will there be any signage? You know, if they have like an email list, are they going to be sending that along to their email list and things like that? I think those are all important stuff.
And when you go to a trunk show, what are you normally bringing as the artist? Like, are you going to bring your own displays, or I mean, that's going to factor into some of those questions too. What do you normally bring with you?
That's a really good question. Something I would ask beforehand, before even thinking about displays, is what's the space look like? If they can send you a picture or dimensions of the table. You know, most of the time, like, they're able to provide a table for me, not something that I would need to bring, although that may not be out of hand.
Because in many instances, right, you're going to travel to a trunk show. Like, it's unlikely it's, you know, down the street from your house kind of thing.
I usually bring my own displays, but you can also ask, do you have things? Do you want me to bring my own? Small things like, you know, if you are traveling, maybe ask if they have a mirror so you don't have to do that. Yeah, but you definitely want to know like what they have for you to use to make it easy for you.
Think about what you might bring to a show.
Something that really helps me when packing for a trunk show, you know, I try to have everything like as prepared as possible. So all I have to do is take it out of like the bag and put it out, because oftentimes what happens if I'm being too slow, people are looking, I'm like getting panicky. So a little trick that I have, because I usually do bring my own displays, is I take saran wrap, like plastic wrap, and so like on like a necklace display or something, I'll wrap everything.
You set it up beforehand.
I set everything up beforehand. I've even done, you know, like if you know the size of your table, take tape on your floor, map it out, place it how it's going to be placed, and then as much as I can, I'll like. It feels very wasteful. I hate using all the plastic wrap, but you can reuse it. So I'll wrap that, or like if I have like an earring display, I'll put all the earrings in one bag, tape it to it. So you want to make it as easy as possible, because always what happens to me is I'm setting up and like people start to talk, and then all of a sudden it takes you an hour to set up. You know, and so you want to just like make it as easy as possible.
Absolutely. That's a great tip. Okay, going back into a little bit more of the kind of like nitty gritty, maybe not super fun financial questions regarding a trunk show. What might the agreement be, or a typical agreement went for something custom? Like, say you're chatting with a customer who's there and they love this piece, but maybe they want it with different stones, or like that piece on steroids with some extra stones that aren't normally there. Like, so how does that kind of work? Is that something that typically then stays split between you and the store?
That's a good question.
Money-wise?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think also has to be done a little bit on a case-by-case basis. Generally, if it were me taking like a full-on custom design, I would probably be doing that outside the store, maybe like taking down their information. However, I have done things where, let's say they just need the ring size, I'll have them pay for it there, and then I'll size it and ship it to them. So I do think it like depends on what it is. I mean, if you're making like a fully customized piece that has like not much to do with something that you have, you know, I think I would be more comfortable taking down their information and you know, kind of following up with them after. But if it's certain things, like I've had people who need their ring size, or maybe they want the chain length adjusted or something, like that to me feels like, that should be
split between the store.
Yeah.
For sure. Another thing to clarify up front, right?
Yeah. I think it's good to have like open communication about those kind of things.
If there's not something on your table that you've brought with you, but you have it maybe on your website or something like that, is it inappropriate to refer shoppers to your website versus the store that's hosting you while at a trunk show?
I mean, I think in my experience, it always feels appropriate to have like my postcards or business cards out, advertising them. In my experience, most of the places I'm doing trunk shows might carry my work already.
Right.
Or maybe there's an opportunity for them to see your work and say this is doing really well, and then sometimes they can keep some of it, to bring the customers back. I think a lot of times stores use trunk shows as a trial to see how your stuff does.
Who insures the work during transit and the show?
That's a good question. I think for insurance purposes during transit, it would generally be like the person who's
the artist
carrying it. Yeah. And, I again, you should really be talking with the person who's hosting the trunk show. But
of course.
If it's on their premise, it should be covered by their insurance. Absolutely. Another thing that like is also an option that I've done is like sending trunk shows to stores, meaning sending my work there for a few days and actually not being there.
Interesting.
That could be an option. This is something that you might want to do with someone who you have a relationship with, or if this is something that they do, but it is something that I've done. They invite me and I might say, I don't have the time or willingness to travel, because depending on where it is, if you're like getting on a plane or something, that might be a little ridiculous to travel, or maybe not.
I mean, if you are getting on a plane, like those expenses, are those put on the business, or is like put on you as the artist, or is the store covering some of that, or is it a case-by-case basis?
I think it's a case-by-case basis. I don't think I've ever had a store pay for like a plane ride. I have had people pay for like my hotel,
your lodging,
food, things like that. I think it also depends where it is. I've also done trunk shows at hotels that have shops, and usually that's their leverage of like, giving you a free place to stay,
right?
Which is also really fun. It could be like a fun way to get
vacation.
But a plane, I've never had anyone cover that before.
Right, transportation to and from, usually not, but maybe once you're there.
Usually not. I think it depends on what it is.
Yeah. What do you think some of the benefits of a trunk show are to you as the artist specifically?
I mean, I think trunk shows are great to get in front of the customer, hearing feedback. This is the same way that I feel about retail markets. I think it depends where you are in your career. Retail markets is something I used to do when I first started out. It's not something I do anymore, just based on my own personal business model, but it is really nice to get like direct customer feedback. Even if someone's not buying something, you're seeing how they interact. You're seeing what the fit is on them. You're hearing their feedback. Oh, I like this, but I wish it was like this. Take that with a grain of salt too, of course. But I also think it's nice to, maybe you're trying to leverage your way into the store as a wholesale account to like kind of prove your concept. To be like, oh, look how interested these people are, or this style is doing really well. You carry my work, but you should be investing more in statement pieces, because that's what everyone is buying. So I think for market research, and also maybe for like a little like feedback for your wholesale accounts.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think another thing to discuss with the store ahead of time is if this is like a multi-day trunk show, like where you can store everything. Especially if you have fine jewelry.
Right. Do they have
a safe? Are you supposed to keep it on your person? And things like that. Or if maybe you are traveling for a show and you don't have like a lot of space in your bag, whatever, you could ship it to them before, so it could already set up or something like that. But all things that like you should think about and discuss with them.
Right. And if trunk shows are something you're interested in, once you get one or two down, it's probably good to start a checklist of, things that you want to make sure to talk about, discuss, bring, whatever.
Yeah. I also think that's a good it's a good like tell if the store has experience with trunk shows, because I've done trunk shows before where like they already have their own agreement drafted,
Right.
which is nice, and like, okay, that's a pretty good sign. Or you have these questions and then you feel like they don't really have the answers. You know, that's something too. Another thing to consider is like, do they expect you to have everything priced already? I've been in both situations where I will have the retail prices already on my pieces, so you just kind of get there and get set up, or stores will ask me for a list of what I'm bringing so they can put it in their POS system to be ready to go. I think that also depends like how their personal assistant operates, but just good to have that ahead of time.
Because not every store might use your suggested retail price. Like they might mark it up slightly different, or have you found that it's pretty consistent across the board of like a 2.2 markup from wholesale?
So for my personal markup, I have something that's called a MAP policy, which is a minimum advertised pricing. So it basically says like you have to charge
at least
220%. I don't think I've ever had anyone do more than that at a trunk show. But you know, so they certainly can't like sell it for less than that.
So like if you do that, or like how do discounts work at a trunk show? Is that something that like, you know, because if you're at a retail market, you're the only one who decides when discounts are applied. If you're at a trunk show, is that something that you're going to talk with the retailer before you agree? Or is it something you can just kind of be like, I did this?
That's a really good question. I definitely think that that's something you should be on the same page at first. I would be very surprised if, you know, they would let a customer use a 20% off coupon on a trunk show. I would, and if anything, if they choose to do that, it should not come out of your cut.
It would come out of theirs.
Anytime I've ever done a, you know, there's like a few places that I do consistent trunk shows with, and like it'll say like the discounts don't apply to trunk shows. So I think that's kind of common. For, you know, that doesn't really seem fair.
Absolutely.
At all. So another thing that I found really helpful during trunk shows is make sure you have good documentation of what you're bringing. So whatever that looks like to you, it could just be a spreadsheet. And so what I find really helpful is it could be as simple as an Excel spreadsheet. I use a program called Airtable to basically run my entire business, so I make it on there. But you can make a spreadsheet that has, you know, all the information about the piece names, wholesale, retail, whatever you want to say. And as you're selling things, make sure that you're keeping your own notes. Don't rely on the store, because if there is a discrepancy, you can say like, oh no, this is actually what it was, or maybe they charged the wrong price. Just make sure that you're like documenting everything. And I would either, whether you have like your computer there or you have a printed list, I find that really helpful. I actually just bring my laptop with me, and then anytime I have notes or something, if I'm sizing a ring, if I, you know, I'll put everything in my spreadsheet so it's like all really clean, and I can, you know, really easily like invoice them or however it is, reference everything. And then I also find that really helpful because when you're doing other shows, you can go back and look at the data. You can say like, you know, either at this particular show or this time of year, these are the things that sold. Earrings did really well, or this. Other things that I find really helpful to bring while we're talking about packing, make sure you have a ring sizer. People are not going to know their ring sizes. Make sure you have a ring sizer. Make sure you have extra earring backs. Make sure you have all the different ones, that if you have silver, if you have gold, you like to give plastic. Make sure you're bringing your packaging with you if that's something that you're going to do. Bring a pair of pliers in case something needs a quick little tweak. You know, maybe bring a little notebook if you want to have a notebook out to say join my mailing list, if that's okay with them. I actually have like a little box that I keep that I use for trunk shows specifically, and it has, you know, like I have earring carding, I have extra packaging, I have like plastic poly bags in case and I'll put the customer's name on it if it's like a resize or something, or a chain adjustment, kind of everything in there. And then at least I know it's kind of like always there. And extra price tags, you know, even if you weren't the one pricing it, because you really quickly need one.
So we've talked about that before, kind of like what you might have in a show box, so to speak. So a lot of the same things, it sounds like.
For sure.
All right. Well, I think that's kind of the most pressing things about a trunk show. If you're thinking about doing one, that's definitely a really great place to start, so you don't go in blind.
I think most important thing is just have good communication before, be on the same page, ask all these good questions. I think it's always a good idea to have some sort of a contract, even if it's like just loosely written down, so everyone sees all the things.
Right.
Yeah.
Not just a verbal, write something
Correct.
down.
Yeah, write it down. Write it down.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Emilie, for sharing your knowledge on trunk shows with us. We really appreciate it. We know you've been around the jewelry block once or twice, and it's people like you who help the rest of us get there.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, happy to help.
All right, thanks.